Guys, you guys will not believe which anime movies did not win a Golden Globe, and even worse, which movies actually did win a Golden Globe over these anime movies. Once you guys hear this list, trust me guys, you guys are gonna lose your mind. Man, that was a killer workout. As you get older, these things are actually harder than it looks. All right, guys, let's start this tier list with debatable robs. These are the robs that I personally think that these animes should have won, but you know, some other anime fans might disagree and bring up some great points as to why these anime movies lost. And to that, you know, I can accept it. So let's get to 2004. 2004 was a great year for comedy movies as the nominations were really solid. Something also interesting about this time period is that almost every studio began to become very proficient at using CG animation. This year's nominations were Shrek 2, Shark Tales,
and by the way, on what?
And Incredibles.
Mr. Incredible, we need your help.
Showtime.
In my opinion, Shark Tales is the weakest in this list. Shrek 2, it's also a good movie, don't get me wrong, but you guys just have to admit, The Incredibles was just amazing. It was really revolutionary for its time. The CG is so good, it even holds out to this day, and it's a really strong contender against the movie that I think should have won, which is Howl's Moving Castle. They're both the best of their genres, and they both equally hold well to this day. I will give the edge to Howl's Moving Castle because I do believe that its storytelling is a little more interesting, and it definitely has a more suspenseful plot, in my opinion. And that to me is Robbery number 1. Alright guys, let's move on to 2006. We're going to the Golden Globes. This is the first year they actually ever had a category for this, so let's go easy on them guys. The nominations for 2006 were Monster House,
Has a legend.
There's something going on at that house.
Happy Feet, and Cars.
Faster than fast, quicker than quick. I am lightning.
As you guys could have guessed, Pixar took this one once again with Cars, which is a demonstration of how much of a powerhouse they were during this time. It seemed like they really could do no wrong. But as great as Cars was, the anime classic, The Girl Who Loved Her Time, was far superior, not for its animation, but for the amazing story it tells of time. One that reminds us that things won't always go perfect, but that doesn't mean we should run away from things, as time waits for nobody. I mean, I saw this movie in high school and I still think about it. This is Robbery number 2. Let's move on to the second tier on this list. The robberies here, guys, are so obvious that even Ben Shapiro couldn't talk himself out of this.
I'm gonna pop some tags. Only got $20 in my pocket.
2013 was definitely a year of the Doge, but also the year that Wind Rises lost and didn't get a single nominations for the Golden Globe. You must be saying, well, there must have been some groundbreaking movies that really took its spot. Well, let's look at the list. First we have The Croods. Okay. How about the second nomination? Despicable Me 2. The winner surely this year must have been a real champ. It's... Honestly, guys, I just don't know what to say about 2019. So let's just move on to 2019.
I got the horses in the bag.
2019 was the year before the shutdown. I remember like it was just yesterday. And this year we actually had some serious contenders like Frozen 2. Okay, alright, I promised I wouldn't get this mad this early, so I'm just gonna calm down. Okay, how about How to Train Your Dragon Lost World?
Hand him over.
I will never give him up.
Then I will destroy everything you love.
Okay, that's actually a pretty good movie. Toy Story 4 was also a nomination that honestly is a movie that wasn't needed. But the winner for this year was Missing Link.
To find the place you belong, you'll need to keep a low profile.
Which is a movie that I thought was okay. You know, it's not bad. It's not a bad choice. But for this movie to win over the critically acclaimed Ride Your Wave, I just don't see it. There's just no way to justify it. Even Weathering With You was a solid alternative. Ride Your Wave is a film that everyone needs to see, especially teenagers and young adults, as this is the only movie that teaches you how to move on healthily from a relationship. Certainly something this generation needs, as I see way too many rebounds. If that list did not make you heated, I know for sure the next ones will. But before we get all angry and feisty and pick up our pitchforks, let's go check out this anime store that my friend said recently opened up at the Brand Mall. So it turns out this is only a seasonal store that's about to close this week, which is unfortunate because the merch is fairly priced. They even had a 30% discount on everything. If I only had more room for merch. Alright guys, here we are at Disrespectful Robberies. These ones are beyond insulting for any fan of these movies, because guys, like, these are just something else. I'm just gonna leave it there. 2012 was the year my ancestors predicted the world was gonna end, but no one could see these heists coming. This was an interesting year where we got to see loads of releases such as Franken Midweenie, Hotel Transmedia, Rise of the Midians, and Wreck-It Mid. Okay, I maybe I'm exaggerating. These movies weren't that bad, but they were definitely not worthy of winning any prizes. So who won this, you might be asking? Well, it was Brave, which was a movie that I do think was a little bit better than the rest. But honestly, the only reason this movie was as big as it was is because it had a strong female lead that didn't follow the stereotypes, which I guess for the West was a pretty big deal. But the way this anime film portrayed their female lead, not only as a strong woman, but a caring mother, was genius, as we got to see the duality of a feminine and masculine traits in real life settings, with it being very natural and not forced. The movie that I'm referring to is none other than Wolf Children. This movie follows a single mother having to tackle parenting alone in an environment completely foreign to her, all for the sake of her kids to get a better life. This movie really highlights the sacrifices moms have to do for us, and is a worthy homage to all mothers out there. While Brave did have some interesting gender-breaking barriers, it's nothing that we haven't seen in anime before, especially not something as good as Wolf Children. But the part that really infuriated me wasn't that it didn't win, but it's the fact that it didn't get a single nomination. It just feels like a lot of the voters just voted on the movie they saw in the trailers when they went to the theaters and just called it a day. I mean, if you're not going to take your role as a voter seriously, I mean, what are you doing there? If you find voting that inconvenient for you and that unimportant, then maybe you should just... Now, the biggest rob in anime history happened in 2016. Winning a Golden Globe this year was not an easy task, as every category was loaded with strong competition. This was the year we saw legendary movies come out such as La La Land, Moonlight, The Revenant, Captain America Civil War, and way much more. As you guys figured, winning a nomination for animation this year was going to be no easy task, as this year's nominations were Kubo and the Two Strings,
This is my story.
Moana,
A boat!
and Sing. With the victorious winner of this year being Zootopia,
No matter what type of animal you are, change starts with you.
which is a movie that I personally like myself, and I agree it should definitely have been awarded Movie of the Year if this anime movie didn't get released that same year. That movie being Your Name. Yes guys, you heard that right. Your Name did not win that year, and you guys are not gonna believe this. It did not even get a single nomination. I mean, the audacity, guys, the audacity for Your Name not to even get a single mention or recognition that even existed. To me, to that point, it's just ridiculous. And to make things even worse, Silent Voice was also released this year and also did not get a single nomination or recognition. While I respect all the nominations and all the movies that came out this year, Silent Voice and Your Name was probably one of the best anime movies ever made during our time. In fact, it probably of all time. And for it to not even get a single recognition is just downright disrespectful, and it's something that I completely think we should definitely revisit and even talking about. Who the heck is even voting? Are they watching these movies? Are they actually paying attention? Do they even care? I think that's probably the biggest point. Do they even care? Do they just end up letting their kids pick what they think is the best movie of the year and just roll with that? Like, anyone who voted during this category, during this time period, should never be let vote on anything. Heck, they shouldn't be voting in politics if they're this dense, because holy cow guys, you cannot be this stupid to not see the difference between these movies. It's like night and day. Anyways guys, hopefully I don't come off as a huge drama queen, but I am very passionate about anime movies. So much so that I actually collect anime movies. Let me show you a couple of them. So here is my collection. I have Your Name, such a fan of the movie, and of course I had to get the beautiful collector's edition box. This is like probably my biggest prized possession. Another one that it's really rare that I have that I really love is I Want to Eat Your Pancreas. To see this movie, you have to jump so many freaking hurdles online. You almost have to watch it pirated, and it's really rare. So like, that's another movie that I really love that I got. Anyways, that's it for today guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you on the next one.